Canelo, there's a lot of articles and social media news floating around saying that you could potentially be negotiating with Terence Crawford directly for a main fight. Any truth to that?
No, now I'm working in other things. Now I'm enjoying my family. I'm not talking about boxing yet. So maybe in January we wanna start doing that.
Where do things stand with Turkey? Turkey said he would like to open a line of communication with you. No middlemen, just you and him. And
I never say no to business. So if it is a business for me, I'm open to talk, no matter what.
Anything else for Chula Vista?
No, thank you everybody from Chula Vista. Thank you for your support.
The likelihood of a fight with you and Terence Crawford, it would be one of the biggest in boxing.
We don't talking about yet about the fight. Me and Turkana know each other, and then we wanna see what happens.
And when do you want to get out next? I know you're here in London tonight. When are you going to be in a camp?
Huh?
When are you going to be in a camp? I know you're
In
here.
camp, training camp in March.
Okay, so when
At the beginning of the middle of the February or March. Yeah.
In a major move for the boxing world, Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez have formally agreed to fight in September 2025 at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada, as super middleweights. Since it brings together two of the sport's most accomplished fighters, this announcement has caused a great deal of excitement among boxing fans. The agreement for this high-profile bout was struck in January 2025, setting the stage for a historic encounter.
Oh, Canelo, you puta.
And this fucking YouTuber, I just fight real fighters.
Time to expose them. So we had a signed contract to fight. Here you can see Canelo's signature and my signature to the right. Claiming he's not fighting YouTubers. Bullshit. Look at the poster. We were announcing Tuesday, February 11th. Claiming he fights real fighters, but he's fighting Crawford, a 135-pound fighter, and running from a real fighter like David Benavidez, you bitch. The truth is you can be bought. You're a money-hungry squirrel chasing your next nut. The truth is these sports-washing shady characters are paying you hundreds of millions of dollars to stop our fight from happening because they couldn't fathom the fact that they can't create a bigger fight than me and you. Al Heyman has made you hundreds of millions of dollars and you turned your back on him for this check. Disloyal. And you were begging to do this fight on pay-per-view. But I have loyalty. Loyalty to Netflix, doing the biggest numbers. And you call me a YouTuber, but you've never had a boxing match as big as mine. Remember you told my team that your daughter came home and asked if you were fighting Jake Paul? She was all excited. You said that was the first time your daughter's ever asked you about a fight. And you're screwing over all your Mexican fans by doing your fights in Saudi. It just shows what type of person you are. And I promise you one thing, Canelo. Any fight that you do this year, mine will be bigger. So go fuck off to your boss, you Ring Magazine employee, you pink and orange bitch. And oh, fix that herpes on your lip, you dirty puta.
The undisputed super middleweight champion, Canelo Alvarez, has an outstanding record of 62 wins, 2 losses, 2 ties, and 39 knockout victories. Terence "Bud" Crawford, the current undisputed welterweight champion with an undefeated record of 41 victories and 31 knockouts, is moving up to the super middleweight category with the goal of further solidifying his reputation by taking on Alvarez in the most recent developments.
How is Crawford going to be able to bridge this weight gap?
Yeah, I don't think he can, in all honesty. I mean, he might not be able to bridge it on Saturday.
Yeah.
So
one weight class.
68, yeah, but you're coming up from 35. 35, 40, 47, 54. Sooner or later, it's one too many. And 68 is definitely too many. But Crawford's brilliant. Like he's a genius. He's a generational great. So maybe he can find a way to do it. But I feel he'd be hugely outsized against Canelo Alvarez. Yeah. But you have to use your movement if you're Terence Crawford in that fight. The last thing you want to do is stand and trade. He'd be moving a lot in that fight, trust me. I'm not saying he'd be running, but he would be moving a lot. Of course, that's the way to beat him.
Yeah.
You know.
Canelo Alvarez's decision to sign a 4-fight contract with Riyadh Season, which resulted in the cancellation of their forthcoming fight, has drawn criticism from Jake Paul. Paul claimed that Alvarez is now a slave to Riyadh Season, suggesting that financial incentives played a role in his decision to stay away from more difficult bouts. He also accused Alvarez of avoiding tough opponents, such as Terence Crawford, because of public pressure. Recently, during a live press conference in a stern message to Terence Crawford,
Terence Crawford said that he moved up and won. and Canelo moved up and lost.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won.
I don't think that was a strong point because Canelo Alvarez actually moved up and won. I mean, he moved up a lot of weight classes, but if you want to talk about light heavyweight, he moved up and he beat Crawford. Then he moved up again and he lost to Bivol. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, he moves up to 154. He won 115, 113, but it was just an 11-0 Madrimov who didn't really have much of a resume, right? But there's a difference, to be real. I mean, Bivol is a Hall of Fame. Okay, this guy, all-time light heavyweight. It's a bit different. Canelo did knock out Kovalev when he did move up. Okay, and Kovalev is a bigger challenge at light heavyweight than Madrimov at 154 for Terence Crawford. Let's just keep it.
Alvarez emphasized his supremacy in the super middleweight class, saying, "This is my territory." Although Crawford is a superb fighter, entering my category presents a unique set of difficulties. I'm prepared to demonstrate why I am the winner here. Alvarez's self-assurance demonstrates his resolve to defend his belts against a strong opponent who is moving up in weight class. Fans are giddy with anticipation as this clash of styles and skills promises to be one of the biggest boxing events of the year.
I'm not even a fan of that fight. They're too many weight classes apart. And although the skills, Crawford is one of the best fighters that I've seen. Now, Canelo is, fighting at 168. Crawford just moved up to 154, and he had some trouble with that in that fight. Now, where do you plan on going? 164, 65, 66? Canelo ain't gonna come down to 160.
Yeah,
Canelo ain't gonna come down, maybe 166 max if he accepts. I think Canelo wins that fight based on just the size, power and size. Now, skill-wise, I think Crawford's a better skilled fighter, but the difference in size will be the deciding factor, and that's why I'm not even a fan of that fight. I think Crawford has accomplished everything he had to accomplish from 140, 147, now 154. That's even greater for him. He wants to do something, collect belts at 154, he can attempt that. But there's no money in that compared to the Canelo fight. And Canelo is trying to fight other guys, and at that point it's more of a big fight, for the money that's gonna generate. But as a fight fan, I'm not really a fan of that matchmaking. I'd rather see Canelo move up and fight somebody like Bitterbeef or Bivol again. If he wanted to challenge himself, move up to 175 again, and challenge himself against those guys. Not a smaller guy moving up.
Canelo Alvarez, who is renowned for his power and tactical versatility, is regarded as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Crawford, a 4-division world champion, brings speed, precision, and adaptability to the ring. Canelo Alvarez has a 62-2 professional record and is a formidable opponent in the super middleweight class. Canelo has demonstrated that he can perform well in heavier weight classes. He is a formidable opponent due to his strength, agility, and experience.
A lot of people that say that Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Alvarez fighting Amir Khan. Now, look at this. Terence Crawford moved from 47 to 54 to fight Madrimov. What did he do to Madrimov? Nothing. Okay, Madrimov was a 54-pounder. Now, to move up to 168, that's 2 more divisions. Canelo Alvarez will take any punch from Crawford, but I don't think Crawford will take any punches from Canelo. Remember, Canelo got hit by Triple G, the heaviest hitter in that division. And Canelo took those shots like a champ. I don't think Crawford has anything to beat Canelo.
When you say, I want Canelo, is there anybody in the camp that would say, you're not ready for this?
That's a big boy. He's strong. That's a conversation. It's not just, oh man, you will whoop his ass.
Yes, man type stuff.
I'm not worried about Canelo. I'm not thinking about Canelo. I'm just focused on Israel Madrimov.
In a small way, is this a stepping stone to your dream fight?
I don't look at fights as stepping stones. It's about now.
Given Canelo's propensity for delivering strong blows, Sean Porter has voiced concerns about Crawford's ability to manage his striking strength. Porter doubts Crawford's capacity to endure such force, particularly in light of the weight and jump classifications. This worry is a reflection of the larger uncertainty regarding Crawford's ability to withstand the physical strain of facing a bigger opponent by nature. Mikey Garcia, a former 4-division world champion, has shared his thoughts on the impending super middleweight fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez.
Just a few weeks ago, you heard what Terence Bud Crawford had to say on why he wants to take on Saul Canelo Alvarez.
I just want the opportunity, to fight the best fighter in my generation that's out there. He's the most accomplished fighter, and I would just like to, fight another great.
Which is a very noble reason. I mean, it's a reason that I can get behind. If you notice, his primary reason isn't money. He did say it'll be the biggest fight, which, you do want a big fight, but I don't think he meant monetarily, which the money comes, okay? But what he's saying is he want to test himself versus the best. And I think he's telling the truth here, right? Of course you want big money and stuff like that, but I think his swan song is just him testing himself up against the very best. Those are the reasons the war room can get behind.
Garcia discussed his belief that Alvarez's size and strength will determine the outcome of the fight, pointing out that even though Cos is incredibly skilled, the stark size disparity could be problematic. He stated that Crawford recently increased to 154 pounds and encountered some challenges, whereas Alvarez has been competing at 168 pounds. Joel Diaz said he was confident Canelo could take on Crawford.
Robert, what's a smart bet on Crawford Canelo? Canelo by knockout or Canelo by decision?
Crawford by decision. And you have to bet?
Yes.
I say Canelo by decision. Crawford by decision. No, but you say Canelo by knockout or Canelo?
Yeah, no, because I'm saying that's what's going to happen. Canelo's going to beat him. But which one?
I don't know, man. Crawford is fucking gangster. I've always been saying, I think Canelo at the end, obviously his strength, his weight,
experience
probably takes over. But shit, I wouldn't be surprised if Crawford just fucking boxes and fights smart and beats him.
He's probably gonna be 40-1 underdog or something crazy like that, right? It's not gonna be close.
No, it's gonna be close.
3 weight classes?
3-4-1. No crees?
No.
It's not gonna be that big of a difference. No.
When you pick the knockout? No, when you pick the knockout?
You pick a knockout. But if it's just
who wins straight out?
I think it's gonna be maybe 3-1, 4-1. Maybe that's too much. Maybe 2-1. Maybe 2-1.
I don't think so.
I'm telling you.
So they finally announced Ryu's fight. Gary Russell, what do you think? Not easy fight? No easy fights in this level? It's going to be, finally you guys will be, the first time you're ever going to a Tank fight, right? To work a corner?
Work a corner at Tank's fight?
Is Tank's the main event?
Former world champion Demetrius Andrade feels that although Crawford is an outstanding fighter, Canelo's size and experience at higher weight classes give him the advantage. Diaz acknowledged Crawford's status as the best fighter pound for pound, but emphasized Madri's distinct skill set and readiness for the fight. Crawford may find it difficult to match Canelo's strength and agility, according to Andrade. Terence...
He's going to be the greatest. You know what I'm saying? Floyd, it was Floyd, and then it's going to be Terence Crawford. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what's on the line with that fight, right? Canelo and Terence is whose era is it? Yeah. Right?
Nah.
I think Canelo had his time.
Yeah, Canelo had his time. Yeah.
Just go submit our time.
Yeah, for sure.
What made Bomac such a great trainer?
He can adapt to any style, bro. Like, he can adapt to any style. First of all, like DB3, we all got different styles. And he all been making this better in our own style. He got Troy Isley. Troy Isley is a different style. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, he got Avius Griffin. Avius Griffin is a different style. Of course, y'all know Jamel Herring and Terence Crawford. All different styles. And he make these fighters great. He can adapt to any style, you know what I'm saying? That's what makes...
Crawford is facing a big test as he gets ready to move up 2 weight classes to face Canelo Alvarez. In his most recent fight, Crawford fought at 154 pounds and defeated Israel Madrimov via hard-fought decision, demonstrating his skill and versatility at that weight. However, moving up to the super middleweight division at 168 pounds is a completely different test. in contrast to his prior fights, where his speed, accuracy, and technical skill gave him the advantage. Crawford will face opponents who are not only heavier, but also inherently stronger and more used to fighting at that size.
All right, let's talk Canelo, Crawford, Jake Paul again. Let's try and give a timeline of events. So on Tuesday, Ring Magazine confirmed that Canelo Crawford was on for September 13th, Raiders Stadium. That's what we got on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we started hearing whispers of Jake Paul. It sounded crazy at the time. I did a video on it. I said that's impossible. But then those whispers became louder and louder and louder. On Thursday, Ring Magazine reported that Canelo Crawford was off. Thursday evening, so just after me and G-Man had filmed, we got reports that Jake Paul versus Canelo, or Canelo versus Jake Paul, was very much a real thing and was close to being signed off, and that would have happened on Netflix. About 2 hours later, we got confirmation that Canelo versus Jake Paul is now not a thing and is off, and that Canelo has signed a 4-fight deal with Riyadh Season, and Turkey went on social media talking about he's the lion and don't mess with the lion and things like that, which I thought was quite funny. Canelo versus Crawford is now back on, and that will happen in September. Canelo versus Jake Paul is now off and won't happen for at least another couple of years. Yeah, I think that's where we...
Taking on a physically dominant opponent like Canelo could negate some of those advantages. The challenge posed by Canelo's strength, stamina, and divisional experience forces Crawford to modify his approach and conditioning. The jump in weight class will determine Crawford's performance against one of the most formidable boxing champions. But going up to super middleweight to take on Canelo would be a big step. Although Crawford's technique and skill are outstanding, there are still concerns about whether his strength and durability will transfer well to super middleweight.
Be great. That'll be 3 times. If you go 154 and win the belt, that's 3 times super. Then I said, chase super greatness. Come on, Canelo. 160.
Well, if he can get in there with Charlo in like his next 2 fights where he still got age on his side, then maybe go up again. Like if he's trying to chase the greatness. But I mean, he already done something that's never been done. Charlo don't want none of that smoke.
Terence Crawford, I see he wants to fight. He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better. No, Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but like I say, he's weight classes for a reason. I'm focused 100% on Berlanga, and you never know what happened.
Yeah.
One of the difficulties in this transition is adjusting to the increased power and physicality of opponents in the higher weight division. Although he hasn't given a detailed analysis, Robert Garcia has also shared his analysis of the impending fight, which leans toward a Canelo Alvarez victory. His forecast is in line with the majority's preference for Canelo. According to Garcia, if Terence Crawford chooses to take on Canelo Alvarez, Garcia claims that the fight's enormous payday will be a major motivator. Garcia believes that Crawford will be fiercely competitive in the early rounds, probably holding his own for the first 6 to 8 rounds. He recognizes Crawford's remarkable skill, ring IQ, and strength, which could allow him to edge out the early exchanges.
What's up, fight fans? Some breaking news. This guy, Julius Julianis, who's an ESPN Knockouts reporter, is reporting that the fight isn't only about to be announced, but the contracts are signed between none other than Canelo Alvarez and Bud Crawford. In Julianis' report, he claims that this fight has been signed, sealed, delivered, and it's going down this September in Las Vegas. We know Canelo was in London for the Ring Magazine Awards with Turki Al-Sheikh, seemingly shaking hands as business partners. And just today, as a few hours ago, Bud Crawford landed in London and was seen with Turki Al-Sheikh this September. It's official. What are your thoughts? This headline is all the details the Ring Magazine put out about 2 hours ago. Canelo Alvarez and Bud Crawford, the fight is off. Guys, are they just messing with us for real? Because this is 48 hours removed from them reporting the location, first ever stadium fight, Allegiant Stadium. Even though the fight was 7 months away in September, this, in everybody's eyes, was going on. And then all of a sudden, the Ring magazine, Turki Al-Sheikh, releases this with no other details. Canelo Alvarez and Bud Crawford in September is off.
Crawford has already accomplished enough in his career to secure his legacy and financial future, so he doesn't necessarily need to continue fighting. The Alvarez versus Crawford fight is set to be a historic event in boxing. History. Crawford's quickness, technical skill, and unbeaten record will be used to test Alvarez's experience and power in the super middleweight class. Both Crawford's adjustment to the higher weight class and Alvarez's performance against a fighter of Crawford's quality are anticipated by fans and observers. Do you think Crawford's skill and strategy can lead him to victory? Or do you think Canelo's bulk and strength will overpower him in the later rounds? Leave your comments below with your opinions.